I do think they are the favourites to qualify for the LAN. Queasy only managing in 18th place. Not a great day from him. We've just had another busy weekend of competitive Fortnite. We now know the 20 teams qualified to the Reload Elite Series Qualifier 1 Grand Finals. I'm going to go over all 4 heats for you in this video, discuss who made it and who missed out. We also had the PlayStation Cup this weekend, which was won by Kurama. I'll talk about that too. Let's get straight into it. So with the Reload Elite Series format, the way it works is that we have 4 heats, each containing 20 teams. The top 5 teams from all of those heats made it through. Let's start with Heat 1. The team that came first in that was Vico and Malibuca, and these guys were absolutely exceptional throughout. And this is considering that Malibuca had packet loss for a bunch of the games at the start. I believe he also missed out on game 5. Nonetheless, they still have the highest points total of any team across all 4 heats. They were also first and second for kills, Vico finishing on 38 kills with Malibuca on 31. These guys were just brilliant, and they may well be the team to beat in these grand finals. They landed at Slurpy Swamp, and that's something that I'll talk about later on. Slurpy Swamp is the dominant spot in Reload because of its map positioning, because it is so central. It tends to just pull every zone. There's also so much loot, so much access to slurp barrels. It's such a brilliant POI, and if you put a semi-decent team there, they're always going to do well. And if you put an elite tier 1 team, then well, they've got a good shot of winning it. So credit to Vico and Malibuca, they were one of only 2 teams in these heats to manage 3 wins, a big performance from them. In terms of the other teams that made it through this heat, we had Ping and Kiro, Twek and Mydro, a very underrated pick, credit to them, Combek and Pix, someone who I had in my predictions, which I will go over fully in a minute for you, and Kira and Rytex, definitely a team that I wasn't expecting, but credit to them. We definitely had some notable teams miss out, the main 2 being Th0masHD and Focus, and Queasy and Swizzy. Now the reason for this is because they were contesting each other at Fort Crumpet. Interestingly, Thomas and Focus were the team that ended up being better off, finishing in 7th overall, having the better of Queasy and Swizzy off spawn. Queasy only managing in 18th place, not a great day from him. I did predict Thomas to go through. I thought he'd have just about enough to manage it. Unfortunately, they were in a position to manage that. They were 5th going into the final game, but they did get killed off spawn when it really mattered in game 8, and they weren't able to get into the top 5. Moving on over to Heat 2, we had some big names qualify, one of them being Sky and Scroll, who came first. This was pretty expected. They're obviously a very, very top duo with excellent chemistry, and I think everyone did expect them to qualify, especially since they were uncontested at their POI, but they got it done, so credit to them. One team that not everyone would have had on their list was Prism and Casper. I certainly didn't have these guys down to qualify as they were contested, but they put in a great performance over the 8 games, doing really well on the day and managing to get second. Credit to them. Vexy and SnozQ came 3rd. Now these guys were my underrated outside pick to qualify. I did include them in my predictions. They've been doing great lately. They won a game of Eval Cup the other day. They came 10th in the play-ins round, showing that they clearly understand how to play Reload. This Polish duo have been looking good, and I'm not surprised to see them doing so well in this tournament. 3rd in Heat 2, a great performance from them. We then had Shark and Teeny in 4th. Again, just like Sky and Scroll, no real shocks here. You would fully expect them to make it through. If anything, the only surprise perhaps being that they came in 4th and not higher. In 5th place, we had Chino and Pablo. They narrowly managed to qualify. They were 2 points ahead of Cringe and Volko in 6th. I mean, I'm very glad we have Chino and Pablo in the finals though. They're an excellent fighting duo, a lot of quality between them, and it will make that lobby that bit more stacked. There was one team that I fully expected to qualify out of this heat, but couldn't quite manage it, and that was Akira and Kurama. Now, they are obviously very good at Reload. Indeed, they have been doing great over the last few months, constantly winning in the Victory Cup formats. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, this session just didn't go well for them. They finished 9th, which isn't too bad, but by the standards we hold them to, you would have expected them to qualify. Now, Kurama did actually have a decent day of Fortnite outside of this tournament, which is something I'll get into later, but they couldn't quite make it work in the Reload series. But listen, the next qualifier is in February. It's not too far far away, so it's definitely time for the teams to reset, to re-strategize, and hopefully perform better come the next qualifier. Over onto Heat 3, we had Mumsy and Sato come out on top. They were splitting dirty docks with fellow French duo Werex and Nosif. Mumsy and Sato looked really good in this tournament. They are also an excellent fighting duo, one to watch out for in the grand finals. We had Pink and Haris in second, continuing their good form in Reload. They managed to come 6th in the play-ins round. They had Booming Base uncontested. I do believe there was a team that was landing near them, potentially trying to grief, but that didn't phase them at all. A great performance from Pink and Haris. Darkos and Minori qualified in third. This was a team that I did include in my predictions as an honourable mention, but they did do one better and managed to get the qualification spot. Big performance from them out of the south side of Steamy Stacks. Chap and Flixie managed to come fourth from Slurpy Swamp. Absolutely no shocks there. They won the first 2 games, looked excellent throughout. I do think they are the favourites to qualify for the LAN through the grand finals. They are looking so good at Reload, it's insane. They won 2 games of the Reload Victory Cup the other day. They won the PlayStation Cup back in the Simpsons season. They are the team to beat. Them and Vico and Malibuca I do think are the 2 favourites to go through. And with them both landing at Slurpy Swamp in finals, spoiler for later when I will look at the map, I do think they're going to go through. Like Shark and Teeny, I'm almost surprised they only managed to come 4th. But listen, it's about qualifying. It's not about where you finish. If you can make it into that top 5 and get through to the next round, then that's the main thing. Coming in 5th, we had Lucia and Mappy. A solid performance from them. They narrowly managed to qualify, beating out Deca and Alva Halo on a tiebreaker. They both had the same points. But as I just said, all that counts is making it, and Lucia and Mappy have managed that. Finally, before I evaluate the tournament and discuss my predictions, let's go over Heat 4. We had Eyedrop and Marius qualify in first place. They were the other team that managed to win 3 games, incredibly dominant from them. They will be a team to watch out for in the finals. They are the 3rd team landing at Slurpy Swamp on that grand finals map, which I will show you shortly. And well, you would not be shocked to see them make the LAN. Dom and Th0mas came in second, a great performance from them as well. 2 wins, you would have fully expected them to qualify, and they did deliver. Pixovsky and Seren came third. This was a team that I did have in my predictions. From uncontested Fort Crumpet, they delivered the goods. Acer and Podosite in 4th, qualifying from Booming Base, and they will be contesting Pink and Haris in the grand finals. And finally, we had Wavy and Josh75 qualify. Won't be the last time I mention Josh75 in this video, more on him later. We did also have some big teams miss out, Yapko and Panzer being the main one, coming in 7th, narrowly missing out on that top 5 to qualify for grands. Now I want to take a look at my predictions and also the map for finals, but before then I do have to discuss something about the tournament, which was that all the heats were played at the same time, and this just made it impossible to watch. I felt like my head was fried trying to focus on what was going on in 4 heats at the same time. Honestly, I really wish these could have been spread out, could have been scheduled over 2 days, where we could have had the chance to watch each heat and give it the attention it deserves, to build narratives for the players. It kind of now feels like we don't really know much about who did well in these finals. Like, outside of the leaderboard, outside of watching it, we are missing a lot of the stuff. I do really like this format. It's good having the 4 heats, being able to have the top 5 players, give them credit, and then to be able to put all of those performing players into one stacked set lobby finals. That's really fun, but give us the chance to be able to watch the heats, to be able to report on them in detail. Otherwise, it's hard to build narratives. I'm hoping this is something that Epic fix for the next qualifier in February, because as I say, very, very difficult to keep up with heats when they're all happening at the same time. Now, let's discuss my predictions. Honestly, I think I did pretty well here. 14 out of 20, could have done a lot worse. A couple of the teams that missed out were very close as well. We had Yapko and Panzer and Th0masHD and Focus both finishing in 7th. Overall, pretty happy with this. I'd be interested to know how you guys did as well. Now here's the provisional map for grand finals. This will definitely evolve over the next few days as teams change their drop spots. I'll be doing a full prediction for this lobby in my next video, but for now I can give you some initial thoughts. I think, as I mentioned earlier, the battle for Slurpy Swamp will be key. There's 3 teams landing there right now. iDrop and Marius, Vico and Malibuca, and Chap and Flixie, and I can probably see 2 of those 3 at a minimum qualifying. That spot is just so strong. I do think Chap and Flixie and Vico and Malibuca, as I already mentioned, are going to qualify in the top 3 to make it through to the LAN. The other team that I think will make it is Sky and Scroll from uncontested Stilt Town. We know how consistent they are as a duo, how good they've been looking in Reload. I think they're going to be the ones to make it. But listen, with 20 top teams and only 3 being able to make it through, this is going to be such a good finals. I'm super excited to watch this on Saturday. There's also a bunch of other teams that I think could do well. iDrop and Marius out of Slurpy Swamp, Dharm and Th0mas looking great too. We'll have to see how it goes. Stuff like this all depends on which teams are going to contest each other, which teams are going to split. We will have to wait and see on the day, but I'm super excited. Now let's move on to talk about the PlayStation Cup. Now this was a set lobby solo finals, and they always deliver, and the player that won was not a surprise to anyone. That was of course Kurama. He is obviously exceptional at solos, one of the top solo players in the EU. He's also a controller player, so it's no surprise that he's doing well on console. It was a little bit tense going into game 6. He was in first going into that final game, but he died very early, being killed by Zangi in Battlewood Boulevard. Fortunately for him, all the players below him failed to capitalize on the opportunity. Josh75, Shark, Flixie, Th0mas, none of them able to take advantage of the situation and survive longer in the end game. They just didn't quite have the pop-offs that were required, and Kurama ended up coming out on top despite dying early in the final game. Looking down the rest of the leaderboard, in second place we had Josh75. He's someone that I have been noticing doing well lately. He obviously did qualify in the Reload Elite Series, making the grand finals, and a big performance from him here too, credit to him. We had Shark in third. He was actually my pick to win, and it didn't look like it was off the cards, especially in game 6 when all the players around him had died and it was just him left. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite make the height take that was required to win the game, and he wasn't able to overtake Kurama, but third place is still a pretty solid performance from him. We had Th0mas in fourth, the UK player, credit to him. In fifth place we had a player that I'm not 100% sure is cheating. I'm not going to discuss him too much in case that is the case. Malibuca finished in 6th, we had Hedra in 7th, Flixie in 8th, Specs in 9th, and rounding off the leaderboard with Cade, the UK player, in 10th. Now let's take a look at my predictions for this tournament and see how I did. As you can see, I did put Shark to come first. He ended up coming in third, so not a massive miss there. I had Teeny to finish second. He was splitting Wonky Land with Shark. Didn't quite work out for him on the day, coming in 40th place. I had Kurama in third, and of course we know where he finished. Then we moved to Scroll, who I did put fourth following his excellent performance last weekend in the solo series where he won that tournament. The PlayStation Cup didn't quite work out for him. He only played 3 games, came in 99th place, just couldn't make it stick, which is fair enough. I mean, he had the Reload Elite Series qualifiers that day, which he managed to win, so clearly he was saving himself for that. I had Malibuca to come 5th. I nearly got that one right. He ended up in 6th. Flixie I was close to. Dexy I put in 7th. He came in 20th place. Cade I was close with. Turtle I put in 9th. Couldn't quite manage to finish that high, ending up in 32nd. And Velo I put in 10th. He started out the tournament really well, was first after game 1 after a victory royale, but couldn't quite keep that consistency across the 6 games, ending up in 30th place. We had some other notable players do well. Alba, widely regarded as the best female Fortnite pro in the world, managing to come in 17th. Very solid performance from her. She is someone who is known for doing well in these solo set lobby finals, performing well in past PlayStation Cups. Credit to her here. I do really like these PlayStation tournaments as they do shine a light on top controller pros. Never let anyone tell you that just because you're a controller player you can't do well. It's always nice to see players from that input having the spotlight shone on them. Over on NA Central we did have some EU pros do well. King Cringe was the highest player that I can be sure isn't cheating, coming in 8th place. He also won a game, credit to him. We also had his teammate Velo win a game and come in 15th place. They were situating themselves quite close to each other, building big bases for fishing that were not too far off each other. But listen, that's solos. You're always going to have stuff like that. A good performance from both of them. Finally, I do want to talk about the FNCS trials. Now, obviously, this tournament didn't involve Division 1 players, so it wasn't too stacked in EU. I'll throw the leaderboard up on screen now. Credit to all the players that did well in this tournament. Over on NA Central, we did have the top 10 dominated by EU pros, as obviously the Division 1 NA players couldn't play in that. We had Howley and Hizix coming in 3rd, iDrop and Gonzo in 4th place, Kami and Hari in 6th, and Kashi and Fyron in 7th. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this. I make these kind of videos every few days to keep you guys up to date on everything that happens in the EU. If you want to support me any further, then using code SPUDSON in the Fortnite item shop is a great way to do that. Thank you very much for watching the video. See you in the next one.